and welcome to Kay's Recipes for Disaster here on the Ruby Tuesday. If you hadn't already guessed, I'm Kay. To finish off our homage to James Gunn, this week's episode is inspired by his film directorial debut from 2006, the classic horror comedy Slither. Slither is a film that thankfully doesn't take itself too seriously, and rather than lots of cheap CG effects, Gunn has opted for a more old-school prosthetic approach to his horror effects, and I really like that. The film takes place in your typical B-horror movie setting of a small town and includes some of our favourite stars, like Nathan Fillion, better known as Captain Mel from Firefly, or Captain Hammer from Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and starring as the unfortunate bloke who gets infected by an evil alien entity, Michael Rooker, better known as Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy, or Mel Dixon from AMC's The Walking Dead. And not forgetting our leading lady, Starla Grant, played by Elizabeth Banks, better known as Effie from the Hunger Games movies. Now that we know who's who and what's what did we think of this film? Well, this movie is what it says it is. It is a full-on frolic into the realm of B-horror gore with a twist of humanity here and there and a smattering of deeper themes that are very skillfully glossed over so that it doesn't detract from the fact that this is a horror comedy. But it does give it a little bit of depth. For example, the relationship between Grant and his wife Starla isn't just given the cardboard cutout treatment, but it has some complexity and a sense of history. And we actually ended up discussing who the real bad guy was after the film, and I think that if a film can make you think like that, particularly if it's a B horror movie, then someone has done their job well. So, if you are a fan of James Gunn and want to see where he has progressed from, or if you are a fan of B horror and gore, then definitely watch Slither. The prosthetics are very well done. In fact, I found a short making of / behind the scenes clip on YouTube, so I'll put the link in the description below for that. So, inspired by the special effects in Slither, as we sometimes like to do, we've recreated a little bitty scene from the movie where Grant starts to show the first signs of mutation. And then I'm going to show you exactly how we did it. Grant? Baby? Where are you? Oh my god, baby, what happened to your face?
It's just a bee sting.
Oh, okay. So the first thing that we're going to do is just take a little bit of liquid latex and put that over the patch of skin where you're going to make the big lump on the forehead. And what I've used is Mayron's Sin Wax, and I've sort of pre-shaped it just because I find the Sin Wax quite tough and difficult to work with once it's on your model. So if you sort of put it in the rough shape that you want it to be and then stick it onto the liquid latex. Liquid latex. I just thought I'd pause for a moment to mention that some people have a latex allergy, and so it is extremely important to make sure that your actor or model know that you're planning on using liquid latex and that you've checked that they don't have an allergy to it. If in doubt, do a patch test on the inside of their wrist because latex allergy can be very serious and can result in anaphylactic shock, so just take care when using it. Okay, let's get back to what we were doing. Right, and then I've just taken the back end of just a normal teaspoon. You can use a professional makeup spatula if you have one, but I didn't have one to hand. So just the back of a teaspoon with quite a lot of Vaseline on it, just to stop it from sticking. And you want to start blending the edges into the skin of your model. And it takes quite a while, so I've sped it up for you. And it's just super sticky, so just keep on using the Vaseline. And then you take some more liquid latex and you dab it on the whole way over the Sin Wax and all the way around onto the skin, just to cover it and give yourself a really good base from which to work. Okay, and now we're going to add our boils. Now, how I've created these boils is just with a bit of gelatin, water, and glycerin. These are really, really easy ingredients to find in a supermarket. I think I just bought mine from Tesco's. You can find it in the baking aisle, and I'm just sticking them on with a little bit of liquid latex. I have to admit that I borrowed this recipe from another YouTuber, so I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can get the recipe for this particular type of gelatin that you can use. And it's just super, super easy. Once the gelatin is all nice and liquid, I just dropped blobs of it onto a side plate and just let it dry. It only takes a few minutes. And then you've got these nice round little blobs that make perfect boils, and they're the right colour as well. They're sort of that horrible yellow pussy colour. And then you just continue to stick them down with your liquid latex. And once you're happy with all of the boils that you've applied to the face, then what you're going to do is you're going to take some more liquid latex and just cover the whole lot with liquid latex. This gives you a nice base from which you can apply different colours and different effects. But you kind of need the liquid latex just to keep it all in place and to make sure that it all stays exactly where you've put it. Cover everything well with liquid latex and then let it dry. And then I'm just using a bit of pressed powder. Some people call it setting powder. This is not a translucent one. It does have a little bit of a hint of foundation in it, but you don't need a really expensive product for this. I think I got this one from Poundland, which, incidentally means it cost £1. So really not expensive at all. And then you're going to start to highlight and work with colours to make your boils look really nasty. So you just take a little bit of the Bloody Rose colour from your Miron bruise wheel. If you don't have a bruise wheel, you can use lipstick. And taking a thin brush, just start to colour round the edges of your boils. So it's like you're just going around the edge and highlighting the edges of each boil to make it look like the skin is really irritated. It takes a little bit of time, but just, keep on going. Keep on making those boils look angry. There we go. I think when I started off doing it, I did it a little bit too dark around the ones on the forehead, so I went a little lighter around the other ones. Now I'm just taking a homemade stippled sponge, and I've added a bit more of the Bloody Rose colour to the stipple sponge, and I'm just going around the skin around the boils to make that look infected and inflamed, to make it look a little bit more realistic as well. You can also do little patches of sort of really inflamed skin with the pink colour. I'm also adding some of the brown colour, the sort of greys colour, just to give it a bit more depth. I don't know if you noticed, it was really quick. I put a little bit on his nose as well, just to sort of give the effect that he's really, really not well, and his whole face is sort of inflamed and infected, and he's probably got a fever. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a toothpick and just marking that weird protrusion that he has coming out of his head. This is not a boil, it's some sort of alien thing that's going to burst out of his head later on in the film, so you don't have to make it look realistic. You can really kind of go to town with it, and because it's got a liquid latex layer over the top, it's not too sticky when you touch it, so you can sort of make it more lumpy and bumpy. And I've sort of gone with making kind of cracks in it, which I'm then highlighting with the midnight blue, midnighty purpley colour, just to sort of make it look like veins, but it's also kind of like cracks, and so it's a bit of a weird effect, but yeah, you can just have fun with it and create whatever you like. So I'll just go through all the little grooves that I've made and colour them in, and then just extend that a little bit onto the forehead, as if veins are sort of coming out of it. And also don't worry if it doesn't look too realistic close up, because you find that when you're filming things and from a distance with the lighting and all of that, it tends to look a little bit more realistic from a distance. But there you can see I'm adding a bit of veinage to my little lump. I don't know what that lump is, but there's some alien activity going on under there, for sure. Poor Grant. I'd love to know what you think of his character if you watch the film. Right, then I'm adding a bit more of the brown and just sort of blending it in a bit. And then I've taken a tiny bit of the midnight blue colour and just adding it to my inflamed parts of the skin, just to give it a slightly bruised appearance as well. There we have it. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please feel free to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. If you've been inspired by a recent scene from a movie and you like us to have a go at doing something similar, then please let us know in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. You guys are awesome. Bye.